In this part of the novel, Ishmael is explaining the story of Cain and Abel and how it relates to the story of the takers and the leavers. If you aren't familiar with the story, Cain kills his brother Abel because essentially he's jealous of his favor he holds with his father and envious of his life. He goes on to explain that the Hebrews act as takers and the Semites act as the leavers. The Semites continue to live the livelihood of their ancestors as herders, while the Hebrews change their livelihood to become more agricultural. The Hebrews wanted the Semites to adapt to an agricultural livelihood, but in the end the Semites stayed true to their ancestral way of life, which is how the story came to be passed along. We spent a great deal of time in this course learning about cultures that have drastically changed their way of life, and how negatively that has affected both their cultural diversity and the biodiversity that inhabits the nature around them. One culture we learned about was the Andean culture, and how they view nature and the relationship with nature has with their culture. Essentially, if one is lacking in diversity or weak, then the latter will mirror that lack of diversity or weakness. In Chapter 9 and 10, we learn about how privatization of communal land has become an enormous movement and how detrimental it has been to ecosystem health. We also have spent time learning about subsistence farming and its importance. It is essentially eliminated as a choice of livelihood these days. Monoculture farming is the dominant form of farming, and it destroys biodiversity. Fundamentally, our shift globally from more sustainable livelihoods to a more profitable livelihood has brought about a plethora of issues that we are now having to address as future generations of that transition.